The chair recognizes Councilor Coletta. Councilor Coletta, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Flynn. I want to thank the chair, Councilor Murphy, and my co-sponsors, Councilor Louis-Jean and Councilor Arroyo, for being there, as well as you, Council President Flynn, to talk about something that is largely stigmatized, even though half of our population, and I would argue more than half of our population, menstruates. We were talking about periods, everybody, and the fact that we're talking about it now is breaking down that stigma. Period poverty is real. So every single month, women and folks who identify as women have to buy pads, tampons, and they are expensive. And largely people are choosing them. What we learned from Sasha Goodfriend from Mass Now, and we also invited Love Your Menses and Dignity Matters, is that people have to choose between food, prescriptions, everything else in life, and then things to help them when they menstruate. And so this was the focal point of this conversation. The second focal point of this hearing order was to talk about how we might be able to get contraceptive methods involved and included in these vending machines, but that is the second phase of this conversation. Right now we're just focusing on pads and tampons. It certainly was an enlightening conversation. We learned that Boston is behind other municipalities, even in the state, and there are 21 states who have already required municipal buildings and state buildings to have these products in their bathrooms. The idea of funding a pilot program to sponsor these vending machines was discussed. We were getting into the details of what it might take and how much money it might require to have these machines or boxes or whatever included in municipal buildings, including City Hall, as well as BCYF centers, libraries, and in our schools. And so we heard from Women's Advancement that a pilot program might need upwards of $125,000. So during budget process, please consider this a priority of mine, and I would welcome my colleagues to learn more about it and get involved in the conversation. Until then, in the interim, there's also state legislation that's up at the State House through Mass Now and Sasha Goodfriend that would require these products in shelters, schools, and prisons. And so while we're waiting for that to happen, how are we getting these products out to folks who need them the most? And so the conversation also went into how we can put them in the hands of community health centers, women's shelters, and nonprofit partners. Regardless, we should be exercising intentionality around identifying reproductive health deserts. I know that there's been a lot of talk about Walgreens and CVS locations closing, so ensuring that anything we're doing is serving our most vulnerable populations. And then just thinking about best practices when it comes to large-scale procurement and government purchasing if we do decide to expand on a pilot program, thinking about what we are investing in and tying in our climate and environment goals and making sure that we're purchasing biodegradable applicators and supporting local startups and MWBEs. And so in future conversations, I would like to have the Boston Public Health Commission there, as well as BPS. So I look forward to those conversations and really welcome everybody to be involved because we do need to break down the stigma. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Coletta.